You asked me a question at the last meeting, Mr. Kelly, and I got the information from you. You asked about Oprahs at the last council meeting, so I did the research. I have your answer. There were 1,090 Oprahs filed last year. 51% of them were queries on motor vehicle accidents. So what a lot of people do, law firms, they'll actually Oprah accidents and things like that as a way to solicit business. If anybody's ever gotten a ticket or an accident and then you get letters from a lawyer, that's how they get it. So 51% of them were for that. 32% of all the Oprahs filed were for real estate transactions, right? So it's part of the normal real estate transactions that information has to be opened. That's just the process, right? That's the legal process to do it. 11% were just miscellaneous. Too many different categories of state. What I do find curious is that 6% of all the Oprahs that were filed last year were filed by you, Mr. Kelly. That's all I'm going to say about that. No, you may not.
Hello again, Mr. Morrison. Tucker Kelly, 16 Megan's Road. Just to follow up on the comment that you made when we were talking about the budget before, and I'm sure that you're aware, Mr. Morrison, at the end of every year, the auditor that just left, Mr. Serenelli, who was the same auditor at the time in 18 and 19, they do reports on the budget and whatnot. And there was no reckless cuts. There was no loss of services. As a matter of fact, it was very complimentary of how much money we were able to reduce that was actually a savings for the taxpayers. Not only was that 18, but it was also 19. But in those reports, even up to where they're at now, there were suggestions about collecting that $650,000 from the sewer assessment in Bobbyville that Mr. Quinn didn't pay, and you guys waived that money collection. It was almost 2 points. And then don't forget about the comptroller report about the $4.5 million that was a double expenditure on health benefits that was paid by a member of your administration. And not only that, there was other monies that were bond ordinances that were thrown into the reserves that our state of New Jersey comptroller recommended to give back to the taxpayers. We're talking millions of dollars that are there. And again, I've said to you before, because of your default end of it, you always go back to saying litigation. And I plead with you because I have to make Oprah requests to get information because you're not willing to give it to me, to get those documents of invoices or accountability or political documents. Why don't you provide all those invoices that you're saying accumulate to all this money that was being spent? You have access to it.
Because it's a legal requirement that you file an Oprah. That's it.
No, it's not. See, Oprah, you're wrong about that. Under 47-1A, there is no requirement for Oprah. It's because you're not willing to give the documents that force us, the member of the public, to make that request. It's that simple. And now, the other thing is, Mr. Jackson had made a mention about the court. What was the new contract? Because you couldn't see it online. How much is the court going to be paying now?
We're not discussing individual contracts. I said this is not a question and answer.
Well, you were answering everybody else's questions before.
They were relevant questions that I had the answers to at the moment. Obviously, I don't know.
Well, you just voted on a contract. You don't know the amount of money that
you're going to
Do you
think I happen to remember the line item of every single thing in the budget off the top of my head? Seriously?
No, it's a contract you just voted on for the Mine Hill Court.
Again,
you don't know the number?
Do you think I would have it at the top of my head?
Yes, because you voted on it.
Well, you're wrong.
You don't know what the actual amount is for a contract that you just agreed upon?
For the fourth time, I don't have it on the top of my head, all right? And even if I did, I don't answer to you.
Okay. So let's just say it's $100,000 and it was originally $70,000 or $80,000. I don't see the 50% increase. And interesting enough, when Mine Hill was in Dover, they were paying $100,000 10 years ago for the same services they're getting now. So are we trying to recruit the losses that we didn't bill them correctly in the multiple years that Mine Hill was having court with us here for the increase to cover that loss?
Again, it's not a question and answer period, and you could be pulling these numbers out of anywhere, all right?
I'm not.
Everybody, listen.
I'm not. Okay. If you disagree with me, you can easily find it through Dover, contact Mr. Morrison, or maybe know the information before you vote on that resolution.
Please sit down. Again, half-truths and conspiracy theories.
answer to you.